This is Mark Esposito, and I have a lovely guest today that I'm interviewing. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself shortly, but I've had the privilege of working with her for several years as a direct support provider in the field. And so I'd like to introduce Wendy.
Hello, I am Wendy Klauber. I am working in this field about almost 8 years, I think, about.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're in your lovely home here in Franklin Square. Pretty exciting. Thank you for participating in this project with me. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to do whatever I can do for this community that we both love so much.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a group that we love, and we've had a lot of good times. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good times. So tell me, Wendy, what are one of the two challenges you experienced that you may feel may go unseen in this community?
Well, the biggest one I see is that the participants themselves seem unseen.
Okay.
They are, if I'm with my participant and she looks like your average girl, and if they see that she maybe isn't, they don't talk to her. They'll talk to me. And I find that troublesome.
Okay, yeah. So basically, anytime that we're out, and this is something I've experienced as well, is people go to us, right? They don't always go to our participant. That could be a little discouraging, a little upsetting, huh?
It's very upsetting.
Tell me, why do you find that more upsetting, if any way?
Because they don't have they think they don't have a voice. If no one is directing a question to them or listening to their answers.
Yeah, I can definitely. I've definitely seen that happen. Like when you go to I've gone clothes shopping with my client, and we're going around, and they ask me, "Oh, can I help you with anything?" And they don't ask him. Have you ever experienced a similar situation?
Oh yeah, we've gone shopping for like a special outfit that was needed for something, a graduation, and they just kept asking me what size. I'm like, well, let's ask her what size she is, or what size she thinks she is, and we'll start there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a pretty significant challenge. Is there any other challenges you feel may go unseen? Hard to say, right?
It's hard to say because there's a lot of little ones that add up to big ones.
I was going to say, it sounds like you have a lot to choose from. How about this? What if I reframe the question? What is something that you see that you feel goes really unnoticed by the general population and even maybe sometimes the parents?
Well, one of them is that it may just take them longer to learn something or have it become a good habit.
Okay.
Because they don't want to do it. So they have to really relearn things all the time because they don't always think logically in that sense, to do something healthy or to not put themselves in a situation that may be unsafe until they realize they're in a situation that they may be unsafe.
Sure, yeah, they don't see the way they can apply that practice, right? Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. I like how you pointed out the processing piece of that, right? I think what I've seen working in this population is that a lot of families will say that we want the help, we start providing the support service, and suddenly they kind of want it to speed up, right?
Yeah, what's next? Oh, what's next? You tell me,
right?
Parents, where would you like this to go?
Yeah, I think it's like they forget that there's got to be a tempo to it, right? And that there's a whole person. Just I think relating back to the first challenge you brought up, which is, did we even ask them about what their thoughts and feelings are about that?
Right.
No, those are pretty significant challenges. And now, shifting over, what are some of the successes that have given you maybe greater insight or inspired your role or empowered it?
Well, I'm with a young girl who, as a lot of these kids, don't really have a big social life. And she met a group, and the DSPs all got along. And now there's all of a sudden she has all these people her age that she enjoys hanging out with and she's very comfortable with. So I think that's like a big step, because a lot of times, I mean, it's only step one, but a lot of times these kids don't have a lot of meaningful friendships because part of it is they don't know how to make plans, and they never had to make plans. Plans were always made for them. So, and they don't know how they're going to get there. And sometimes they don't want to ask their parents to take them somewhere. How am I going to get there? Who's going to be there? You know, so things that kids learn at a young age in school, our participants don't always know how to do that, even as an adult. And that's kind of tricky sometimes.
Yeah, so it's great to see the success of friendships formulated, but then there's the extra steps, right, to maintain the friendships.
Right. Because it isn't always, sometimes they don't know how to maintain those friendships. Sometimes they do too much, over texting, over calling, okay? Or sometimes they don't do enough by even knowing that they're supposed to get back to someone because they've never had to do that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I think, again, that speaks to our position, right? Where we're put in these roles where we have to bridge a lot of these gaps, right? Of communication and social discourse and these like social emotional pieces where as a young, middle schooler or a teenager, right, we start to learn about, and our parents may point them out to us, but unfortunately some of the individuals that we support haven't had the opportunity to do that, right, on their own, to organically learn,
to understand the social skills, to know when to get back to someone, to make a plan. Can they make a plan? Because who's taking them?
Sure.
They don't always know to ask about certain things either.
So in your role, do you feel that it justifies a lot of the discussions that you have back and forth with your participant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're used to being told what they are going to do and not being asked what would they like to do.
Gotcha. So it's definitely like a good feeling when...
Yeah. When she'll come to me and say, hey, do you think we could go to mini golf next week with, our group? I'm like, that's a great suggestion.
Sure.
I'm almost like, yes, a suggestion.
Yeah, it's great when you get like that spontaneous piece, right? Yeah, no, it's definitely coming from a place where, like you said, they're so used to being directed and they rely on that direction a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to see the other model where they're kind of doing it on their own, and then suddenly they're doing it on their own. They're like, does this feel right? It's pretty cool when you get to do that as DSP and a coach.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the parents don't always know how to navigate that either, because honestly, the parents of the participants don't always speak.
Oh, like they don't communicate with each other?
Yeah, unless they like grew up in the same town or went to the same schools. So now if like the participant is in a college program, there's kids from all different areas. So it's hard to get, to make a plan when you don't know the parents of the other participants.
Oh, okay. So
only that. So then the DSPs are making the plans.
Gotcha. So once a participant befriends another participant, you almost have to figure out, how do we get the parents involved?
Yes.
Because then the coaches can only go so far in terms of communication and assigning plans. That's an excellent point to make. I think that's one of the areas of our position that we don't have that kind of network to rely on. And I think it's also it's a surprising challenge for parents, because I don't think they see it coming, right?
No.
Yeah, they're definitely a little blindsided sometimes about that. And then very excited to make something happen, though, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And the other thing is they're working full time. And it's not always, easy for them to do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard on both sides, and it does fall onto DSPs a lot to do on their time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, my next question is, what's something that you would wish you knew about your role before entering it, and maybe even feel others get wrong about it?
How much involvement there is. Like, you don't realize when you start that you're really involved in the kid's life, in making plans, having to talk to the parents. You're almost becoming part of the family, but you're not part of the family.
Gotcha. Almost like this like odd surrogate type of thing going on.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you sign up or whatever, and they're like, "Here's my kid. See ya. See you in 2 hours when whatever is done."
That's funny. My experience, I have thought of it as like a switchboard operator,
Mm-hmm.
and my job is to make something happen.
I like that.
Yeah, like it's I feel like I'm in like one of those films, those like 1920 films, and it's like, hello operator, and I have like the different plugs, like I gotta know where to go. And I always know where the plug has to go. I never want to get it wrong, because I really want the success for my client. I know you do too.
Oh, there's nothing better that when you help organize a day out at, let's say, bowling, that the kids love it so much, this group that we've put together because they become friendly, that they want to do it every week.
Yeah, it's true.
And the smiling faces and the laughing and the camaraderie that they never really had, because now they're in a group that they're so comfortable they can actually just be themselves and be accepted for themselves, which doesn't always happen either.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's a really great point, and it's not something that we ever have gotten in our training. Actually, I think with any FI or any group, I think some families have that maybe already established, but typically when you start working with a family, they're kind of relying on you to help with that, and they're really hoping that maybe the classes that their child is involved in will help with that. But again, they get totally blindsided, and then we get to be really excited when something really happens. So what's something you feel maybe people get wrong about it? I mean, you wish that you kind of knew that you had to provide this type of communication, or you're going to have this kind of enmeshed role with the family. What do you think people don't know or get wrong?
Well, you start off on your own. You hope that the parents have. I haven't had the experience where the parents actually said to me what is expected of me.
Okay.
What their child's, whatever their neurodiversity is.
Okay.
Up front. I mean, maybe they've given you something to read, but it would probably be nicer hearing it from the parents.
Okay.
I also know it's hard for them a lot of times to get staff, so they'll just say whatever to get you started, because there's times I don't want to say that they're desperate, but they want someone to, take their kid out into the world.
Sure.
So you have to start somewhere.
Gotcha.
So I don't, I really wasn't told much about any of my participants.
Guys, there's no, so I guess what people get wrong about is they think there might be a turnkey type of approach to this where we walk in and we just get things going, but it sounds like we don't get much in the beginning.
We don't get much. I've had, times where I've, the parents, I interview them and they interview me at the same time.
Right.
So I have, but we're usually talking about things that we could do, not about the participant, because they're usually there when you meet them. So maybe it would be a good way to start one-on-one before you hire someone.
Okay.
And talk about the person as opposed to just getting everybody together and let's see if we get along. Right. I mean, that's important as well, but maybe just, they don't know. I came into doing this with no skill set.
Yeah, that's a commonality as well, right? Where a lot of coaches, they are looking for a position and this is available, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Kind
and
of flexible hours.
flexible hours for sure.
And you're out and about. You don't have to sit at a desk technically with a lot of paperwork.
Really don't.
Especially now, it's even less paperwork.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you get to do the app on the phone.
Yeah.
Thank
goodness.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point that you made, that we don't get a lot of information on how to do the position, how to meet with the families, and how to maintain these relationships. It is interesting when we're out in the world, people kind of look at us when we're working with a participant, and I've always wondered what they think we're doing or providing, or
if we're related.
Yeah, if we're related.
Which doesn't bother me what anyone thinks.
Same.
But I will say, I think I'm one of the things I did in previously was that helped me be a DSP is I took care of all the old people in my family. And I saw that they have a very similar way of being treated.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk to my father-in-law. They talked to me. And I said, well, he's right here and he can hear you. So why don't you speak to him? It was like the same sort of, just because someone you think is more capable standing next to them doesn't mean they're not capable.
Would you say that maybe your experience as a caregiver, caretaker, before entering the role as a DSP maybe helped you be a successful one? Oh, okay.
Absolutely. And that's why I get angry sometimes when they talk to me and not whoever I'm with. When the person is looking at them and then they're talking to me.
Because it's kind of like they're looking at, who they're verifying who's going to give me a quality response type of
thing. Or
a
faster answer.
Or a faster answer.
My father-in-law liked to take a deep breath before he spoke and think about it. That's just who he was.
Sure.
And I'm like, we'll get to it.
All good things take time, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So in saying that, what do you hope to see in the future in regards to improving the quality of life for those within this community?
That's a tough question. I feel like, how many times can you say more acceptance? Because, but, maybe have more situations where they can be themselves and be accepted. Yeah,
it's an excellent point. I think you and I have had multiple outings with our participants where we've gotten to kind of create that environment for them.
Yes, absolutely. And you definitely help motivate everybody to do that. But
thank you.
No, you really do. I mean, but it's sometimes hard for outsiders to understand that.
Yes, that is true. Just to speak on a few, we've gone to restaurants together. We've gone to Adventureland together, bowling, obviously, and movies, and out to the mall, to the parks. We've done a fair share of things, and still more to come, I'm sure. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's just I just try to build up her confidence to be able to speak more for herself. That's one of my goals.
Yeah, like a strong advocate would, right? Would more training for DSPs be something that you feel would be helpful?
Well, training can't hurt anyone, but
okay.
I don't know if like training, like just to be. I think you have to see it. It's not something that's always textbook, because every one of these kids that I meet is different. So maybe just to get a good general of all the differences, but I don't, there's always a class to take. You can learn to, but I think it takes a lot of patience.
See, that's funny. I think people tell me, oh, you're very patient, Mark. And I look at them and I go, I'm a New Yorker, man. I have no patience. I do not have patience for anyone or anything. And
New Yorker here too.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had a lot of conversations about that. Shout outs to Cat's Deli. And our good old where we go for the breakfast sandwiches. I can't think of the name. We'll come up with it later. But
the Bagel Cafe.
No, not the Bagel Cafe.
Oh, Russ and Daughters?
Russ and Daughters.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like with the participants. No, we don't bring participants to Russ and Daughters.
No, we don't. I don't
know any of them that would actually eat it.
Yeah.
That's another story.
I think any of my participants would go, this was an interesting experience, but no, thank you.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'll have carrots, please.
I'll have carrots, please, for sure. One of the things I thought about when you said you have to see it, it's true. You have to see it to understand what you're going to be working in and providing. I sometimes think of training could be something where somebody looking to be a DSP are going to start as one, maybe does a week with someone who's been doing it for a while.
I think that would be great because they would see the community.
Right.
Or at least the part of the community.
That's right. And they'd also see sometimes the small car care packages we have to have for our clients, whether that be like a squeezy ball thing or extra water bottles.
I just picked up, if you look over there, some silly putty.
Oh yeah, I looked at that when I walked in. I saw that you had some extra silly putty.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long way. Silly putty is, I think, one of those really great, inexpensive tools that every DSP should carry. So if the manufacturers of silly putty hears this, I would love more silly putty. Yeah, I'd love a discount. All DSPs would love a 30% discount.
Well, it's interesting because I did buy my participant like certain things, like a fidget ring.
Oh yeah.
I thought she would love it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she did, but I've never seen her wear it.
Gotcha.
And I got her something else, and I don't know if it's because I gave it to her or whatever, which is okay. It's not personal. I don't take it personal.
Sure.
But it's like, she probably would love it if she had it on.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent point where it becomes a big trial and error, right? And that happens a lot in our position. We always have to do a lot of trial and error to see if we're going to be a good match for the family, if they like us, for the participant, the activity or class we're taking, what road is best. If our participant doesn't like the route we took, or if there's too much traffic, or even picking out the right fidget toy.
Or leaving the sunroof open.
Or leaving the sunroof open.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, leaving a sunroof open, I mean, it can let in more light, and some of our participants are very light sensitive.
I didn't know until it got slammed closed. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
No sunroof open. Note taken.
That can happen. I've had it where I was chewing gum, and one of my participants put their hand under my chin, and I looked at them, and they just looked at me, and they were like, "Stop!" And I realized, they don't like. Not that I chew obnoxiously. I hope not. I think I would be told by now, but they didn't like chewing gum, so I had to find a different way. But trial and error. Yeah. Goes a long way.
Well, that's why this position can be difficult, because you just never know where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's something they could have remembered from many years ago, or something that happened last week. Mm-hmm. We don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing I've actually come up with for it is it's like their day is like a glass of water, and it kind of gets close to the top as they get towards the end of it, and those unresolved memories or experiences are like ice cubes. And depending on the temperature of the day, it will either melt those ice cubes quicker or not at all. But no matter what, if and when they get melted, depending on the day, depending on how much water they have in their glass, it'll get raised. And sometimes it gets really close to the brim, and sometimes it spills over. And I think when it spills over, we see our participants gas out or really look to us for support.
Yeah. I've seen those end of days. The end of the day, exhaustion or confusion because they don't know how to process these being so full.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen you in action, actually, supporting your participants in those moments. And again, there's, they say when you meet someone on the spectrum, it doesn't mean the next person you're going to meet is exactly the same. It's always different. And I've seen you have to adapt. And when we've managed group outings, having to really find the right way to do it again. What do you think is, or one is your favorite ways to work with a participant at those end of days? What's your go-to?
I usually just say, let's take a walk. And because I don't like to, everybody gets embarrassed and there's no embarrassment. So let's take a walk over here and talk about how you're feeling this minute.
I like that. I think that's a really great way to tie back to what you had said earlier, which is just ask the person, right? See where they're coming from. Give them a moment to process the question, maybe.
And be heard.
And to be heard. Active listening skills, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's just too much and they want to go home.
Yeah, and we've all had that, right?
Yeah. But we can process that and maybe, take a deep breath and keep going while that's it. They're full, ice cube melted, it's done.
Yeah, it's
time to go.
Time
okay,
to
let's
go. So my final question then is, are there any other topics you'd like to speak about, pertaining to what we do or your experience or what you're seeing or future developments, things like that?
I do see that there could be some sort of training, even if it's just shadowing someone who's already doing this, or just talking in maybe go have a meal with the parents and the participant, like be out and about with them, or something more than just a 5-minute chat. Okay, see you in a couple hours. Like just a little more to get to know each other. I think that the participants would feel more comfortable, and so would the DSPs. Because sometimes you just don't even know what to say or how they're going to react. Look, I feel very lucky. The young people that I work with are all pretty much on the calm side, or, can be brought down from the ledge if they're on a ledge.
Sure.
Kind of easily. But there's many young people that can't be. And you don't always know that until they're in a situation where they're so uncomfortable that they're acting out.
Yeah.
And what the triggers are.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for speaking on that. In my experience as well, it can be daunting to work in this field and to not know that there's other DSPs out there or that have a similar approach to you. I was really lucky and really happy that when we met in that program, I got to meet you and several of the other coaches, and we had so much in common in terms of life experience, but in our approach.
Yes, our approach.
We knew that
we let them lead.
Yeah, we let them lead, and we knew a chill vibe would go a long way. And just FYI, if you did hear whimpering on the audio, that's Wendy's really cute pup. What's your dog's name again?
Lolly.
Lolly's looking right at me, and she looks adorable in her beautiful white coat. But yeah, we all have a really chill approach, and I think that a lot of coaches would benefit from knowing that it's okay to be calm, cool, and relaxed. We get more
chill.
Yeah, chill. We get more done that way, and it allows us to listen, right?
Yeah, and I just find it to remove them from the situation that they're getting worked up about, and have a little chat, talk them down from the ledge. If there's, if they can't be composed. That's been my best way to deal with things.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Thank you so much for speaking on that. Wendy, I really appreciate your time and your insights. I really hope that anybody who listens to this can gain some knowledge, or just can feel or see themselves in our own shoes.
Maybe even to know to ask some questions they didn't even know to ask about their participants and what they see for their future, and how they want you to move forward with them.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually, I think we should do that as like the Wendy protocol, right?
Okay.
That could be like the Wendy. That should be on the pamphlet.
Yeah, because sometimes I still don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, we're still learning too, right?
Oh yeah, I learn every day. I mean, I think that's part of it.
Definitely. Well, thank you again, Wendy, so much. And
My pleasure. I'm sure they'll be around too. So
I think there will be around too. We'll have to maybe have conversations about those outings that we've had with our clients and participants.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Lots of good times. All right. Well,
all right. Well, thank you.
My pleasure.